Um, Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming to our Research Day activity for today. And I just want to have a special welcome to Semester 1 students for the Principle of Veterinary Research and One Health. I think they have this special privilege to be able to attend to our research day. So I just want to, as I say, welcome everyone, and just a brief about our research week or research day. Every year we do celebrate our research day, and this always gives us an opportunity to showcase our research achievements and showcase what staff and students do to advance the health care of animals, human, and environment following a One Health approach. And we have done it, all our activities are targeted locally, regionally, and internationally. So we do cover all those aspects. And first of all, I would like to thank all students, that is DVM students and postgraduate students and faculty who have responded to our call for posters and 3 master's thesis presentations and 3-minute master thesis presentations, despite your busy schedules, and wish everyone participating, especially in the competitions ahead, all the best. And remember, by mere participating, you are already a winner. So don't be discouraged if you don't. You are already a winner by participating. And secondly, I would like to thank our guest speaker for blessing us. That is Dr. Rebecca Swan. If you might raise your hand, that's our guest speaker or keynote speaker for this year. And we are very happy that you agreed, you are willing to share with us your personal experience. And remember, Dr. Rebecca is a RUS alumna. And that makes it even, wonderful. Thank you so much. Our theme for this year is unique. It's a unique one. Is all creatures teach and research listens. There is no end. It's all creatures teach, research listens. And we have in our program this year interesting presentations. And some of the presentation has already been presented by our guest speaker in the form of informal questions and answer session. And we had a session on the unsung heroes, those who participated, animal models in biomedical research. And that was a wonderful presentation. And then we also have what is your diagnosis, which our guest speaker again did present. And as we move on, our guest speaker, I think later on through the program, our guest speaker will have our keynote speaker, and we will properly introduce her to you. She will deliver a keynote address this afternoon titled Becca's Journey from RUSVM to Clinical Veterinarian at the Caribbean Primate Research Center at the University of Puerto Rico. And later on today, please do not miss our ASLAP Student Club event. Please do support them. I think we have to congratulate them on the efforts which they have put to come up with this program. And the theme there is Meet Your Research Match. So come and your research match. So come and hear and see what is in plan for this presentation. We are also celebrating the One Health Week, and tomorrow Friday we have our RUS MSc in One Health students capstone project presentations at between 12 o'clock and 1400 hours in the Don Smith Lounge. So if you have time, please come and join and hear the different presentations which are principled on the One Health approach. Lastly, I would like to thank the organizing committee led by Ruth Braganza. Ruth is here. There are a lot of things behind the scenes which have been organized, and I would like also to acknowledge IT and everyone else who has been involved in the planning and coming up with a thoughtful, provoking theme and program of All Creatures Teach, Research Listens for the 2025 Ross Research Day. Let us share and enjoy our achievement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Makiritirwa. And hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see all of you here for our competition, the 3-minute thesis competition for 2025. Now, a thesis typically is something, written very well structured, introduction, methods and materials, results, discussion, and it could be about 80,000 words long. But we have 5 contestants, 5 participants that are going to share their research with you in 3 minutes. It is quite possible. Now, the 3MT celebrates research conducted by students and students here at RUS. The 3MT was started in 2008 in Australia by the University of Queensland, and since then it's been held in 85 countries, over 900 institutions in total, and it was started here at RUS in 2018. Now, just a little bit more information on the 3MT for those of you who don't know. While the individual, each person is talking, they will have a static slide presented on the screens here. The presentation would have commenced when each individual starts talking, and the judge's decision is final. And no competition is a real competition without prizes. So these are the prizes here. The winner wins $500 US, the runner-up $350 US, the People's Choice $150 US, and these prizes go towards being able to present their research on an international stage at a scientific conference. Now, we have a little bit of an idea of what the competition is about. We want to introduce you to the judges. We have Dr. Rebecca Swan. If you could just stand or wave, either one. She is the clinical veterinarian at the Caribbean Primate Research Center in Puerto Rico. You'll hear more from her later, as Dr. Makiritirwa mentioned. We have Dr. Amy Weezer. Yes, the clinical director at UVC. And Dr. Shoaib Ashraf. He is the associate professor here at RUS. And you guys get to judge as well. We are, as I mentioned, we'll have a winner, we'll have a runner-up, and we'll have the People's Choice. So you, the people, here in person and online, we're live streaming as well. You get to judge for your favorite, basically. You get to choose who really did the best job in your eyes. A little bit more information so you can know what we're looking for. The presentation should provide clear motivation, background, and significance to the research question. You should basically be able to tell what the research strategy and design are, the findings of the research as well, the conclusions or the expected conclusions and outcomes, and impact should be clear. And as I said, there's going to be a static slide. So the static slide should be complementing and very, very closely in line with the talk itself. I must mention that each talk For each talk, each presenter is talking to a lay audience, right? An intelligent lay audience. So there isn't going to be a lot of scientific jargon and so on. And at the end of each talk, you should know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and why they're doing it. You might ask yourself, why should I care about this research? Our presenters will tell you why you should care. So for principles of veterinary research, students, you can go ahead and scan your QR code for attendance as we prepare to start our presentation. And our first presenter is Frances Martin. She is a DVM semester 6 student, and she is the research assistant of Dr. Segobanazi. Okay. Right, she is the research assistant of Dr. Segobanazi. I must mention here that we also want to thank all of the PIs for encouraging their students to take part in this competition. And Frances's title is Sometimes Two is Worse Than One. Let's welcome Frances to the stage.
Did you know that twin pregnancies in horses are almost always dangerous and often deadly for both the mare and the foals? One mom raising one healthy baby without intervention is what we want to see. Up to 95% of twin pregnancies in horses end in abortion or stillbirth, and that accounts for nearly 1/3 of all total equine reproductive losses. Even when twins survive, they're often born weak, premature, and require immediate medical intervention. For the mare, these pregnancies can lead to dystocia, uterine damage, and infertility. Even if twins make it to term, it is rarely a joyful ending. Oftentimes, these twins are removed from the mare's care for intensive support, and the mare is left exhausted, stressed, and separated, a physically and emotionally painful outcome. Current solutions are far from perfect. They include ultrasound-guided aspiration, manual embryo crushing, or hormone-induced abortions, all costly, invasive, and stressful procedures. Some owners just simply wait and see, hoping one of the twins naturally dies off. But that gamble is risky. Oftentimes, both embryos are lost, and the mare's fertility is compromised. Beyond welfare, there is a financial burden to consider. $1,000 to $3,500 per case in veterinary costs, and that is just scratching the surface. So what are we going to do about this? Our research asks, could acupuncture, a gentle, ancient practice, be a non-invasive alternative for reproductive management? Using donkey jennies, or the girls, as I lovingly refer to them, as a model species, we tested whether acupuncture, paired with a reproductive hormone called PGF2 alpha, could safely induce luteolysis. This is the natural process that targets a structure that maintains early pregnancy. Acupuncture needles were placed over specific reproductive points on the spine, and the jennies were monitored by ultrasound. That was my job. The best part, the jennies showed no pain or distress, and they even didn't really seem to notice the needles. They got to hang out and have some snacks as well. The results are very promising. Acupuncture effectively induced luteolysis with no adverse effects, offering a potential low-stress, low-cost, and welfare-friendly alternative to traditional methods. This research isn't just about donkeys. It is about advancing humane reproductive medicine across all equine species and also exploring the possibilities of integrative medicine. Just think, what else could a simple needle do? Thank you.
Great job, Frances. Yes, we're off to a fantastic start. Now we have our second participant, Gabriela Peralta. She is doing a dual degree, a DVM and a master's as well. She's a semester 5 student who came out of the DVM to do her master's for 1 year. Her PI is Dr. Mark Freeman, and her title is Getting Crabby with Gabby.
Imagine standing on a Caribbean shore, crystal blue waters, beautiful reefs, and fishing boats that once came home so full they nearly overflowed. But now the reefs are fading, fish are fewer, and grocery shelves are lined with imported goods that cost more and more each year. For many island communities, this isn't just imagination, it's reality. Climate change, overfishing, and reliance on imported goods are threatening ecosystems and people's ability to feed themselves, causing reefs and plates everywhere to look like this. But what if the answer to this growing food crisis has been hiding beneath the waves all along? Introducing the Caribbean king crab, an unlikely hero that may hold the key to all of our problems in its mighty claws. This remarkable native species plays a crucial ecological role. They're natural coral reef cleaners, grazing on harmful algae that can smother coral reefs and keeping ecosystems in balance. But here's what's even more exciting. They're also large, fast-growing, and herbivorous, all traits necessary for them to be able to be farmed using plant-based feeds instead of costly fish meal, making them one of the few aquaculture species that's both sustainable and affordable. So why aren't they already being farmed? Because we simply don't know enough about their nutrition. That's where my research comes in. I'm conducting a nutritional study to uncover what these crabs need to grow and thrive in aquaculture settings. I test different feeds and see how each diet impacts growth and survival rates. My goal? To identify the ideal diet, the key to large-scale crab aquaculture. Now, I know what you may all be thinking. This sounds like just another aquaculture study, but it's not. The study isn't just about crabs. It's about people. It's about building resilience so that when global supply chains falter, island nations can continue to feed themselves. In other words, the study isn't just about what's on a crab's menu. It's about what could be on yours. If successful, Caribbean king crabs could revolutionize how we think about food and sustainability. A once cryptic and little talked about species could become the face of a new growing aquaculture industry, one that empowers farmers and protects the oceans we all depend on. With the help of my team and the help of the crabs, I hope to create a world in which your reefs and your plates never have to look like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. Is everybody doing a great job so far, you think? Oh, yeah. All right, so let's just give it up for our first two presenters once again. And our next presenter, Alicia Hannigan, will come to the stage. She is a semester 4 DVM, and she's also a research assistant working with Dr. Lorenzo Segabanazzi and Dr. Cynthia Zhu. And her title is Saving Donkeys One Dose at a Time.
Who here has undergone anesthesia or had a loved one, two-legged or four, go under? That's a lot of you. Surgery is a scary thing. No matter how minor the procedure, there are always risks. When I was a teenager, my horse Tess needed surgery. But instead of getting the call that she was in recovery, I got something much scarier. She had a negative reaction to the drugs and experienced cardiac arrhythmias before the procedure even started. Fortunately, Tess survived, but she couldn't have the surgery and was plagued by lameness the rest of her life. My story isn't unique. There are a limited number of anesthetic drugs. each with its own side effects. We hope that everything goes well, but what do we do when things don't go according to plan? Alpha-2 agonists are one of the most commonly used anesthetics due to their combination effects of sedation and pain control. But these drugs are known to cause cardiac arrhythmias, increased blood pressure, and more. When the negative effects become too severe, we do have reversal agents, our heroes, alpha-2 antagonists. These drugs completely wipe away all effects of the agonists. Unfortunately, there's a limited amount of research on alpha-2 agonists, and even less so on their antagonist counterparts, especially in large animals. We researched the safety and effectiveness of an intravenous drug, yohimbine, in donkeys. We estimated that yohimbine would result in a measurable physiological change, demonstrating its effectiveness as an alpha-2 antagonist. And what we found is that yohimbine is in fact a safe and effective reversal agent, not only reversing the sedation, but also the negative cardiovascular effects that arose. Our research provides valuable information on the pharmacokinetics of yohimbine in donkeys. But perhaps more importantly, it provides insight into the more broad effects of alpha-2 agents in equine and other mammalian species, providing a framework for future pharmacological studies. I will forever wonder what could have been if Tess had been able to have her surgery. What if she could have been quickly reversed with a drug like yohimbine? My hope is our research provides patients a safer surgery and the reassurance that a reversal agent exists if things do go wrong. Patients shouldn't be denied necessary surgery just because we fear the effects of anesthetic drugs. And thanks to our hero, we are a lot closer to that being a reality.
With 1 second to spare, Alicia Hannigan, thank you so much for sharing your research with us. Our participant number 4 is Helena Walker. Helena is a DVM semester 4 student and a research student working with Dr. Natalia Forno-Bell and Helena will be presenting on the title, Would You Put Sunscreen on Your Cat?
I want you to take a second and recall the worst sunburn you've ever had. It hurts just to think about, doesn't it? Now, what did you use to treat that sunburn? Well, I'd be willing to bet that it was probably aloe vera gel or some lotion containing aloe. And what about before the sunburn? Well, you probably did use sunscreen, although maybe you didn't apply enough or reapply like you're supposed to. I know that I don't. Our pets don't really have that option, though, do they? Sure, there are pet-safe sunscreens out there, but how often are people really using them? And let's be honest, are they using them on their cats? Would you put sunscreen on your cat? Because exposure to UV light, that is, sunlight, is one of the leading causes of feline squamous cell carcinoma, one of the most common and most aggressive malignant skin tumors in cats. It most often affects the lightly haired skin of the face and ears, which naturally get more exposure to the sun. That's because UV light alters a cat's DNA. Mutations in key genes contributing to immunity are often found on these cancer cells, which makes sense, right? If the animal's natural defenses are not in place, then the animal is more likely to get sick. Well, in this case, unable to regulate cell growth, and thus cancer. Feline squamous cell carcinoma has a prevalence of anywhere from 15 to 48% worldwide, and sadly, therapies are limited, often resulting in aggressive radiation or surgery. That's why our team's research is so important. We are attempting to establish and characterize a novel feline squamous cell carcinoma line. So how are we doing this? Well, the first step after taking tissue from a patient is to establish a viable cell line by culturing the cells in the lab. Then we will characterize these cells with a variety of different tests. Each of these tests use fluorescent or colored dyes to tag proteins and genes so that we can actually see what's expressed. By visualizing these aspects, we will be able to understand the cell's origins, if the cells change over time, and what mutations make these cancer cells so aggressive. If we are successful, it would pave the way for the development of new targeted therapies using compounds. Compounds such as aloe-emodin, which comes from the aloe vera plant and has shown promise in many different applications: anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and yes, anti-cancer. So the next time you consider allowing your cat to frolic around outside or spend a little too much time next to the windowsill, consider the consequences and decide for yourself. To prevent cancer, would you put sunscreen on your cat?
Thank you so much, Helena, for sharing your research. Would you put sunscreen on your cat? Last, but certainly not least, we have our final presenter, Ashley Watts. And now Ashley is also a DVM master's student, currently in semester 4, and her PI is Dr. Kerry Rolfe. She will be sharing her research and talking to us on the topic, the hidden purr in prevalence.
Good afternoon, everyone. And hello, YouTube! Shameless plug. This is my good friend, Greto. We are not celebrating his birthday, but in fact, we are celebrating. He just got over a recent health scare. He is FIV positive, and he got pretty sick. But he's all better now. Everything's great. Still partying strong. Hey, Lexi. Hey, Gretty. Love you. Anyways, okay, so I'm currently working on a project here in St. Kitts with our amazing faculty, peers, and community members looking at viral infections in the cat population. So prevalence studies like ours help us assess the health of a population by looking at the current burden of disease. So I'm here counting cats. It's great. What do you suppose a viral infection looks like in a cat? I imagine you're picturing a sneezing, gross flu-like virus, am I right? You're not wrong, but not all viruses cause clinical signs of disease, or at least not at first, or maybe not always. There are a lot of viruses in the world, like people, and they all have differences and similarities. And in fact, through research, we found that most sick animals have underlying viral infections. What's even crazier is that some of those viruses seem to have consistent relationships with other pathogens, such as bacteria or other viruses. So it's like this, guys. The virus sneaks in, leaves the door wide open, calls up his best mates, throws a killer party, invites in a few randos, and then they all trash the place. Not cool, right? So our research is looking into 3 such criminals: feline immunodeficiency virus, FIV, feline leukemia virus, FELV, and feline gamma herpes virus 1, who has an equally complicated acronym you will neither recognize nor remember. Yay! So if we know that viruses like to throw raves, and we know approximately how many cats are harboring these fugitives, what's next? I'm so glad you asked. So with research, we can now better track these parties, which means that we can determine how these viruses are getting in and what risk factors are there that are encouraging viral infection. With these insights, we can now learn to close the door through prevention strategies or work to support our fellow friends in their journey by offering client education and fun things. I forgot what the other one was. By offering client education and support for our FIV positive friends so that cats like Greto can live their best lives. Thank you.
Great job, Ashley. Now we have had our 5 participants. And now it's your turn, judges, all of you, to scan and choose which of the 5 did the best job. Did you walk away with the what, the how, and the why? Was your why should I care answered? Was the presenter engaging and clear? You choose based on the answers to those questions that I just asked. And while you're doing that, I just want to congratulate all 5 of our presenters once again for doing a fantastic job. I know that you're online and in this room thinking it's easy. I assure you, it is not. So I just want to congratulate all 5, and please join me in that. They were able to present their work in just 3 minutes. Yes, let's do that. There's pizza up front, so everyone, you're invited to come down to the front on my left to take a slice or a few of pizza, and then we'll have our keynote presenter, Dr. Rebecca Swan, give her presentation, her keynote presentation.
everyone, and thank you for having me back at Ross. This is really a full circle moment for me to be back here. I want to first congratulate all of the research posters and 3-minute thesis participants. I gained so much information from your research that you've presented, and you all prepared amazing research, and I hope you never lose that spark for finding answers and questioning everything. Best of luck to everybody who participated this week. I'm really impressed with what you guys put out here. In honor of Research Week, I'm going to share with you how I ended up here today and take special note that it was a journey that was long and hard, but I did it, and so can you. So in honor of Research Week, I'm going to start off with my abstract, and then I'm going to get into the details in my materials and methods section. I received my bachelor's and my master's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Then I worked for a couple years before I started at Ross in January of 2020. Although my education prepared me with skills and knowledge, it was the obstacles, the mentorship, and the determination that fueled my journey. After the few days I've spent back here on campus, I've realized this is really what it's all about. I mentioned that I completed my undergrad and grad school in Philly, and between those two programs, I had actually applied and was denied from the University of Pennsylvania's VMD program. Their loss, I guess, but I spent time at UPenn completing my practicum for my Master's of Laboratory Animal Science. The faculty and the residents in their lab animal department supported me with invaluable mentorship and experience. I completed my master's at Drexel University, and if you're interested in lab animal science, I highly recommend you look into their program. After graduating from Drexel, unfortunately, I was in a severe car accident that left me out of work for some time. I was picking up side gigs here and there and was working in retail until I got my first big girl job at the Wistar Institute, where I was working as a science administrator, and I focused mostly on IACUC duties. I love the regulatory aspect of lab animal science, but I really missed hands-on work with the animals, so I decided to apply to Ross. I was accepted into the program in late 2019. I packed my bags and moved to St. Kitts. I took advantage of every lab animal related experience at Ross and at my clinical school, Louisiana State University. Unfortunately, 3 months into my vet school journey, we received an email telling the students that they could go home if they'd like due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So 3 months into my vet school journey, and the world stopped spinning for a while. And I'm sure you can all relate to that with your personal experiences. I stayed on island, which was the best decision I've ever made. And I made the best of the island while no one else was here. That being said, a lot of my lab animal experiences were limited to virtual lectures, but I made the most of it. As students were slowly shipping back to island, we were able to have some in-person events, including monkey necropsies that was hosted by the ASLAP Club. Dr. Amy Bierschmidt facilitated all the events that we had with the monkeys on island. She's another clinician who inspired my journey. If you haven't met her yet, I encourage you to introduce yourself because she's a great person. Now, I've had a few people come up to me and ask how I ended up specifically in Puerto Rico at the Primate Center. And I think that's where my journey gets a little bit interesting because while I was working as an IACUC administrator in Philadelphia, I had attended a local ALAS branch meeting and heard about this mission called Project Monkey Island. This was a group of volunteers from Puerto Rico who were looking for more volunteers to help rebuild the communities and surrounding areas of Cayo Santiago after Hurricane Maria. If you've been to my lectures this week, you've probably heard me mention Cayo Santiago several times, but if you're unfamiliar, this is a very tiny island off the east coast of Puerto Rico where they have a colony of approximately 1,800 rhesus macaques who are purpose-bred for research and have free reign of the island. After Hurricane Maria, this island was destroyed alongside with mainland Puerto Rico, and they needed immense help to rebuild this area. Unfortunately, I wasn't in a position to leave my job and hop up to Puerto Rico, but I never forgot about those monkeys. Fast forward to my 7th semester. And at Ross, I knew that I really wanted to figure out what was going on with these monkeys in Puerto Rico. So I emailed a couple different people in my 7th semester, and by the time I got to my clinical year, I got in contact with the deputy director at the Caribbean Primate Research Center, and she gave me some information about how I could complete an externship there. A few months before I graduated, I actually spent 4 weeks at the Caribbean Primate Research Center working with the monkeys and learning so much about the patient care. I was also learning a little bit of Spanish, and I was able to soak up all the amazing culture that Puerto Rico has to offer. At the end of my externship, I spoke with the veterinary medical director, who is now my boss, and I asked if there could be a job opportunity for me. Shortly before I graduated, I had a job offer in my email. Immediately after I finished my clinical year, I picked up again and moved to Puerto Rico. I'm now living with my husband and the best island dog, and we're living there in Puerto Rico today. I think I've mentioned a few times throughout my lectures that I'm working my dream job, and I don't take this lightly because this is something that I've kind of manifested. I knew that I was going to end up working with laboratory animals at some capacity, but I never could have imagined the gratitude I feel being able to work with these amazingly intelligent creatures who share so much similarities to humans and are invaluable models for biomedical research. I really don't think I could ask for much more in my job right now. And of course, I had some hiccups along the way. On top of juggling all the uncertainties of COVID, it was a very bumpy ride to say the least. But I persevered. And I think we all kind of joke about that Rossi resilience, but it's real. And clinicians outside of this island are going to recognize you for that Rossi resilience. I completed the DVM program in January of 2024, which really wasn't too long ago, so I'm still gaining confidence as a clinician. But I'm so lucky to have amazing mentors at the Primate Center. My colleagues, Dr. Natalie Spiliopoulos, who's also a Ross alumna, my colleague, Dr. Armando Burgos, who helps me every day with cases I'm unsure about. I also have an amazing team of vet technicians and animal caretakers that make my job so much easier, but I often find myself asking for their advice because they've been doing this much longer than I have. I can confidently say I've never started a new position and felt so comfortable, welcomed, and treated like family the way I do with my team at the Primate Center. Now, part of this could be the intrinsic hospitality of Puerto Rico, but I'm grateful to have the opportunity to work alongside these amazing individuals. So, in conclusion, my journey had a few obstacles, but the support I received from my family, the amazing friends that I made on this island, and all the mentors really paved the way for me. I have to credit myself for all the student loan debt and the 10 years of school that I attended, but being back here at Ross and talking to students in the same classrooms that where I was taught makes me really proud of myself. To see young faces interested in research and changing the world is what we need most right now. I was asked to put an inspirational quote on the slide, and I'm actually not sure that that quote made it up there, but that's okay, I'm gonna talk to you about it. So I picked this quote, and this is an old Japanese proverb that loosely translates to, "Even the monkey falls from the tree." And basically what that means is even people who are super specialized and have all the knowledge and experience are gonna take a tumble once in a while. And I'm not trying to say that I have all the knowledge and experience, but it's something to be inspired by, knowing that we might fall once in a while, but if you have the determination, you can manifest your dreams just like I did. So I really want to thank you all again for having me back here. I want to thank Ross faculty for holding our hands through COVID. I want to assure you that the COVID-era graduates are doing amazing things. Congratulations again to all the research participants. And do we have a clicker? Do I have a second slide up here? Yeah. Do I? Oh, okay. So this is my little plug. I wanted to give you guys all the information as well as the information of my colleagues. So if anybody's interested in externing with us at the Caribbean Primate Research Center, I have listed up here my contact information and my colleagues, Dr. Burgos and Dr. Ruiz. You can feel free to email these people and let them know that you're interested in externing with us. I really love hosting students, and I would love to see some fresh Rossi faces working in lab animal medicine or working with monkeys. So that's all for now. Well, that's all for today for me. And again, thanks all for having me here. It's so amazing to see so many faces out here today in the same classroom where I was sitting. And now I'm on the other side. So again, this is what it's all about, guys. So, you know, I did it. You can do it. That Rossi resilience is real. And thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swan. And the moment we have all been waiting for, just give us 2 moments. Okay, we are ready to go once again. Are you all ready? All right. So before we announce the winners, we'll ask Dr. Mukiritiwa to join us on stage to assist. Is our dean here? Okay. No. Kathleen said no. Right, so we'll invite Dr. Mukiritiwa on stage to present the certificates to the winners. And again, once more, let's all applaud our 5 participants. They all did a wonderful job and represented their research very, very well. So let's start with the People's Choice. You've all voted online and in person. And our People's Choice winner is Alicia Hannigan, saving donkeys 1 dose at a time. Congratulations. Great job. And now our runner-up, Helena Walker. Would you put sunscreen on your cat? And apparently you should. And now, for our winner, drum rolls, right? Yes, yes. Francis Martin. Sometimes two is worse than one. Congratulations, Francis. Sorry, it's just that we know stuff. Over the past few weeks, we have been preparing for this, and I have to say that each person has come a very, very long way in between, then and now. What you've seen here is a result of very hard work and practice. And again, all 5 of you did a fantastic job. Congratulations, everybody. And that is it for this day's event. But we just want to remind you that posters and infographics in the Don Smith Lounge, the voting closes at 3 p.m.
Go over there, scan the QR codes, take a look at all the amazing research that everyone's been doing, as well as these fantastic 5 ladies. Oh, okay. And if the lead supervisors for our 3MT participants are available to come and take a photograph with them, that would be appreciated. But do go over to the Don Smith, check the posters, and scan for the People's Choice. And 4 p.m. tonight, the announcement of the posters and infographics winner back here. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Ronan, everyone, our IT, fabulous IT team, facilities, for getting everything organised. And our team, thank you for coming.